Hello, it's good to be with you. And oh, yes, I've been away for quite a few days from doing proper live streaming and feeling a lot better today. Thank you for your prayers and support, and love every one of you out there. I'm just going to check whether we are streaming live, and so give me a second. Uh, just want to check. And so see what we hear here. Yeah, so we are live. So I'm just gonna put. Give me a second. Just technical things. Love you all, and it's good to be with you all. Particular shout out to a chap called Eddie Cooney. They lost their pet dog, and it's not easy. Pets can be like a family, so you have been in our prayers, Eddie and Anne. And we're just spreading the live feed. The live feed is over 4 or 5 platforms. And yeah, so we have quite a packed day for you today. I'll be out and about doing evangelism in the coming days ahead. But for the next couple of days, I'm just going to be doing live streaming, and yeah. So watch the space. If you want to support the ministry that me and Dorcas do, you can go at the bottom of this video. There will be links to a variety of ways that you can support this ministry and to help us and to go forward. We are full time in the ministry, and we need your support and encouragement. The other thing as well, I just want to say thank you again to everybody who supported me and visited my wife Dorcas. I will give a report on Patreon later today. So if you want to go on Africa Without Borders Patreon, then please be free to go there and what I have to share about the report. There is a little report here, but it'll be a bit more detailed on Patreon. Yeah, so it's a packed day today. We've got a lot of things going on today. Live stream. There'll be shorts coming out as well. So look out for the shorts. And don't forget, we have 3 websites: africawithoutborders.co.uk, I'm Charlie Kirk online.com, I think it is. And we have Trump News International .com, I think. So we have 3 websites and different ways you can support us. And yeah, so let's get on with this live stream. I will probably do a couple of these streams on Patreon if you want to go into more detail on this topic. Over the next week or 2, I'll do some live streams on Patreon, but it will be on a paywall if you want to listen to these talks on peacemaking. Then you have to go on the paywall. So we're looking at a book. It's called The Peacemaker by Ken Sande, and that's the book that we're looking at. And you can get hold of the book on Amazon. So I'll just put information here. Let me just see. Yeah, so Yeah, so those are the three places where we are streaming on Grace and Glory podcast. We're streaming here and we're streaming here on Viva Vortex. But that's the book that you can get hold of there. Okay. And it's a cracking book, by the way. Again, you can support us on Patreon. Again, that's our website there. It's a great website for evangelism if you want that. That's another website that we have. There you can buy various books. And if you want to support us on PayPal here. So let's go into this book. And it's a cracking book. So dealing with conflict. How can we deal with conflict, whether it be in marriage, whether it be in business, whether it be in church? And there's a couple of key principles that we can use when you're in conflict, when you're in a battle or a difficulty where you're not getting on with someone or you're not getting on with some community. There are a couple of principles that you can use that can, from the Bible, that can help you. So one of them is 1 Corinthians 10:31. So let's turn to 1 Corinthians 10:31. 1 Corinthians 10:31. In 1 Corinthians 10:31, we read, "Whether therefore you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God." Whatever therefore you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. Biblical peacemaking is motivated and guided by a desire to bring honor to God by revealing the reconciling love and power of Jesus Christ. As we draw on his grace and follow his example and put his teaching into practice, we can find freedom from the impulsive, self-centered decisions that make the conflict worse and bring praise to God by displaying the power of the gospel in our lives. Let's read that again. When we're in conflict, we should be thinking about, in the situation, maybe I'm not getting on with my husband or my wife. Maybe I'm not getting on with my children. Maybe I'm not getting on with people in the church or people in my ministry or whatever. The first thing that we should think about is, how am I reflecting the glory of God in this situation? And so we read again in 1 Corinthians 10:31, "Whether therefore you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God." You see, in conflict, the first reaction that we have is to preserve ourselves, to protect ourselves, to defend ourselves. We don't want to get hurt, or we might feel hurt. And that shouldn't be our first port of call. Our first port of call should be, how will this bring glory to God? How can I bring glory to God? How can I reflect his glory in this situation? And I like this where it says biblical peacemaking is motivated and guided by a desire to bring honor to God by revealing the reconciling love and power of Jesus Christ. Now, that's not easy. When you're in conflict and you're hurt or you're finding it difficult in a situation, the desire is to protect yourself. And some of it might be to do with pride. Some of it might be to do that maybe the things being said are correct, or maybe the things are being said are not correct. But we're hurt and we become defensive and we become all about ourselves. And we need to realize that we have to think of the glory of God. How am I reflecting the glory of God in the context of reconciliation and love? In other words, I need the Lord to help me to show his love and his reconciliation love and his grace. I need his help in displaying this so that it may glorify him in this situation. That's not easy. It's not easy if someone tramples on you. It's not easy if someone has emotionally abused you. It's not easy if people or someone has judged you in a wrong way. But we have to try, by the grace of God, to not react with our instinct of self-preservation and pride. We have to pray that my decision, my communication is not self-centered. It's not impulsive. Be very careful of impulsive reaction. That is where the enemy likes us to be, in that impulsive state. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean by that impulsive reaction? Someone might say something and you fly off the handle. A group might judge you and you fly off the handle. And Satan knows where to press the button. He knows that particular issue is just the right button to press in order to inflame the situation where you're impulsive. So we have to try and avoid an impulsive, self-centered reaction, to pull back and to think about the glory of God. And in the thinking about the glory of God, how do I reflect the reconciling love of Jesus and his grace in this situation? That's not easy. It's easier said than done. We need God's help to do that. Okay? We need God's help to do that. So that's number one, thinking about the glory of God. Like I said, if you like this teaching, if you find this teaching helpful, in the next week or two, write it down in your diary. I will do some live streams on Patreon. If you want to pay for that, it'll be on a paywall. You can do for that. You know, I do hundreds of Bible teachings. It's all free. But, you know, sometimes a laborer is worthy of his hire. So some of these things are going to be on paywall from time to time. The second point is get the log out of your own eye. Get the log out of your own eye. Let's turn to Matthew 7:5. Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7. Verse 5 says, "Thou hypocrite, first cast out of thy beam, out of thy own eye, and then thou shalt see clearly to cast out the mote of thy brother's eye." Get the log out of your own eye. Attacking others only invites counterattack. Attacking others only invites counterattacks. I'll say it again. Attacking others only invites counterattack. This is why Jesus teaches us to face up to our own contribution to a conflict before we focus on what others have done. When we overlook others' minor offenses and honestly admit our own faults, our opponents will often respond in a kind. As tensions decrease, the way may be open for sincere discussion, negotiation, and reconciliation. Attacking others only invites counterattack. If you launch into, say in your marriage or in your ministry or in your church life or in your business, if you launch into a counterattack straight away, just flying off the handle and saying, you did this, you did that, you did that, you did this, is it going to make the situation better? No, it's going to make it worse, because what that does is it's like petrol being poured onto the fire. So yes, maybe your wife or husband has said something that's hurt you, and you want to fly off the handle and you want to attack them and say, no, you did this, you did that, you did this, you did that. It's only going to put petrol on the fire. Or you're in your church and there's an argument in the church about some situation, and then someone criticizes you, and then you go and lambast them. It's pours petrol on the fire. Or you're in the ministry, you're a pastor, and maybe the church has criticized you, and so you lambast the church, petrol on the fire. Or you're a businesswoman or a businessman, and some of your work colleagues have criticized you, and then you whack them, petrol on the fire. The first thing to do when the conflict starts is to, with accountability and honesty, before whoever it is, or the group that you are facing, is to look at yourself first and to say, you know what, you're right about that. You know, wife, you said this, you're right about that, I'm sorry. Or, you know, husband, I'm right, you were right about that, I'm sorry. Or, you know, friend, you were right about that, I'm sorry. Or, you know, colleagues, I didn't like what you said, but there are areas I need to improve. You're right about that. So look at your own beam in your own eye before you launch out into anything, before you say anything. It's easier said than done. When people maybe have really hurt you, or maybe your wife or husband has said something that really, really hurts you, and you really want to get back at them. But it's better to look at the beam in your own eye and think, you know what? Maybe my attitude has been wrong here. As a leader, as a pastor, or an elder, maybe my attitude has not been right. Reflect on your own faults first before you launch out into saying anything about the other person. So we've looked at two issues here. We've looked at glorify God. We've looked at get the log out of your own eye. And now we're going to look at gently restore. Gently restore. Galatians 6:1. Galatians 6:1. Let's look at that. Galatians chapter 6, verse 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such as one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. So Galatians chapter 6, verse 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such as one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. I love this verse. I think it's a wonderful verse. Well, the Bible's wonderful, isn't it? But this is beautiful. I love it. Galatians chapter 6, verse 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such as one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. I love that verse. I'll drink my water. Thank you. So, Galatians 6, verse 1 again. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual restore, which is one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. I think we have to remember that God is not in the business of the demolition business, but he's in the restoration business. When others fail to see the contribution to a conflict, we sometimes need to graciously show them their fault. If they refuse to respond appropriately, Jesus calls us to involve respected friends, church leaders, and other objective individuals who can help us restore peace. In a conflict situation, we have to be very, very careful. You might be right in what you're about to say. You might be right in defending yourself. But what we often do is we often, in defending ourselves, end up wanting secretly, we don't have it like consciously, but secretly, we want to undermine the other person and to destroy their credibility. And the question is this: is that restoration? Is that restoring someone in a gentle way? It says, brethren, Galatians 6:1, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, which you are spiritual, restore as one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou be tempted. Is it really restoration if you really just want to win the argument and destroy the other person's reputation? That's not restoration. You've got to think of the person that you want the best for them and you want them to be restored, and so that you can have a fruitful friendship and fellowship with that person. You don't want to be speaking so that you can destroy their reputation or destroy whatever they're saying in order to make yourself look better. So when you, and that goes in a marriage, you're not there to destroy your spouse, to pull them down to such a point where you've won the argument and made them look bad in their own eyes. The same in the church, same in a business. You're there to restore. You're there to restore. If you have that attitude, I want to restore this person, you're going to be a bit more gentler. You're going to be not as defensive, and you're going to be looking to the Lord to work in the situation, to help the situation to come to a better conclusion. So have this attitude of restoration, not demolition. I know it's not easy. It's not easy, say, if your wife says things about you that are not good, or you say something about your wife's not good, and then there's this upset, or you're in church and some people say bad things about you, and then you just want to say bad things about them. It's not easy to have a sense of, I want to restore these people, or I want to restore this person. Sometimes in a marriage you can lose your patience, but no, we have to have this desire for restoration. And the same in ministry, we can lose patience, or we can be exasperated by someone's criticism or people's criticism, but we need to be willing to have an attitude of restoration. That's the third point. Have an attitude of restoration. And then let's turn to Matthew chapter 5, verse 24. Matthew 5:24. Matthew chapter 5, verse 24. Leave therefore thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Agree with thy adversary quickly. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose. I always get itchy nose when I'm going live streaming. Agree with thine adversary quickly while thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. It says here, finally, peacemaking involves a commitment to restore damaged relationship and negotiate just agreements. When we forgive others as Jesus has forgiven us, and seek solutions that satisfy others' interests as well as our own, the debris of conflict is cleared away and the door is open for genuine peace. Wow, that's not easy, but there is a desire as a peacemaker to be committed to restoring damaged relationships. To be committed to restoring damaged relationships. It's not easy because, well, here's a question that I have for you. Can a relationship be restored if one of the partners or people involved does not want restoration or does not recognize the need for reconciliation? What do you think? And so I think it is best on your side to do your best. You can only do your best. So be committed to making that effort to be reconciled with that person or that group as best you can. And then if they don't want it, then that's up to them, but you've done your best. So I think we're done. We've done about 20 odd minutes of this study. Like I said, excuse me, we'll go deeper into this study on Patreon over the next few weeks and months ahead. We'll do some studies, more studies on peacemaking. And if you want to listen to those talks, they will be on paywall as well, you know. Also, just to shout out as well, I just want to give a shout out here to yeah, so I just want to give a shout out here is that I'm planning the end of March to go for at least a month. I hope to go for a couple of months to Malawi. And underneath this video, there is an opportunity to donate to that fund. I'm looking to go for at least 10 weeks to teach pastors there, to do evangelism amongst Muslims in April, May, and June, or at least 4 weeks. These people need a lot of help. with their food, Bibles, teaching materials, the travel costs to get there and to come back, the living arrangements. It's not a cheap thing, you know, to go on these missions. I won't be living in luxury. I'll be living in a very, very simple, basic life. So, but if you want to support that mission work, there is a link underneath. Underneath the video, you'll be able to find the link to it, and it tells you a little bit there about the mission and stuff. So, yeah. So if you feel like you want to support missionary work, we've been doing mission work in Africa for 8 years. All your resources that you give, it gets to the people. So there's a link underneath there for that as well. So I'm going to close in prayer and ask the Lord's blessing upon what we shared today. And I want to thank everybody for coming and listening to this video. Dear Lord, I thank you for your grace. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your blessings. I give you the praise and the glory. And I just pray, Lord, that you bless this video. Pray it will help people and encourage people. I ask this, Lord, in your name and for your glory. Amen. Amen. God bless you and take care. We're going to have a break for 5 minutes, and then we're going to be streaming on Roman Catholicism and looking at that issue. So God bless you all, and love to everybody out there.